Welcome to the International Trade Minute, quick-fire trade news where time is trade. We are your go-to podcast for rapid and concise updates on trade and law, designed specifically for busy trade professionals. Sponsored by Rydell Law Firm and prepared by seasoned trade attorneys, our twice-weekly podcast packages your essential trade updates, all in the time it takes to enjoy your coffee break. Subscribe now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, and Google Podcasts, and join the conversation with a network of like-minded professionals on LinkedIn, where time is trade, make every minute count. In today's episode, we're unpacking some significant stories that are shaping the landscape of international commerce.
In our first story, we're diving into a significant development in U.S. trade law, the Customs Modernization Bill. Introduced by Senators Bill Cassidy and Sheldon Whitehouse, this bill marks a pivotal shift in how the U.S. Customs and Border Protection, or CBP, operates. It's part of the larger initiative for a 21st century customs framework, aimed at enhancing efficiency and compliance in trade operations. One key aspect of this bill is the expansion of CBP's data access. Parties across the supply chain, beyond just importers, can now provide and update advanced data. This move is set to streamline the customs process, enabling priority processing and expedited customs release. But there's a catch. Failure to submit mandatory advance data can lead to hefty fines, starting at $5,000 for the first violation and escalating to $10,000 for subsequent ones. This decision, despite some pushback, reflects a strong stance against noncompliance. The bill also tackles a pressing issue: counterfeits. By lowering the threshold for inspecting and seizing counterfeit goods, the CBP can now act more decisively. This change is not just about enforcement, but also about the equitable distribution of seized goods to charities or for public use if they don't pose a safety risk. And for those concerned with transparency, the bill proposes making truck, rail, and air cargo manifest public, a significant step for organizations monitoring sanctions violations or forced labor in supply chains. In conclusion, the Customs Modernization Bill represents a major shift in U.S. trade policy, balancing efficiency, compliance, and transparency. As the world of international trade continues to evolve, this bill could set a new standard for global customs operations. Up next, we're delving into a hot topic in the tech industry: the potential export controls on advanced open-source software and cloud computing services. Alan Estevez, the Undersecretary of the Bureau of Industry and Security, BIS, recently highlighted this issue at an event by Georgetown University's Center for Security and Emerging Technology. Estevez emphasized the growing importance of artificial intelligence, especially with developments like ChatGPT-4. Now, here's where it gets interesting. BIS is exploring how to potentially control the export of these technologies without hindering innovation. It's a delicate balance, protecting national security while fostering technological growth. On the open source front, the focus is on large language training models. Estevez admitted there's no immediate concern, but acknowledged the need to keep a close watch as the AI landscape evolves. But it's not just software. Cloud computing services are also under scrutiny. This comes in the wake of BIS's efforts to prevent Chinese companies from circumventing chip controls using cloud services. Though no new controls were introduced in their latest update, the topic remains a point of concern. The BIS's approach here is cautious, yet comprehensive. Estevez mentioned that a dedicated team is locked in a room, figuratively we hope, brainstorming potential strategies. It's a challenging task, given the global nature of cloud services and the potential difficulties in getting international allies on board. What does this mean for the tech industry? It's a waiting game, but one that could have significant implications for how tech is shared and used globally. Estevez assures that once BIS has a clear direction, they'll engage with industry stakeholders. As we wrap up this news, the message is clear. The tech world is at a crossroads, balancing innovation with security. It's a complex, ever-evolving situation, and we'll be here to keep you updated every step of the way. We continue with our next article. We're discussing a crucial update affecting everyone in the maritime and transportation industries. The Biden administration has issued new guidance, a joint effort by the DOJ, HSI, and the Commerce, Treasury, and State Departments, emphasizing the enhanced responsibility of shippers, forwarders, brokers, and ship owners in maintaining sanctions and export compliance. Particularly under the spotlight are freight forwarders. Recognized as playing a key role in compliant supply chains, they're being called upon to craft rigorous compliance programs. This shift marks a significant change in the enforcement landscape, where the primary responsibility traditionally fell on the U.S. seller and foreign buyer. The advisory outlines several deceptive practices used by sanctions-evading vessels and foreign companies. These include manipulating location data, falsifying cargo documents, and engaging in illegal ship-to-ship transfers. The message is clear: ignorance is not an excuse. Matthew Olson, Assistant U.S. Attorney General for National Security, emphasized the DOJ's commitment to holding companies accountable for lax compliance programs. Similarly, Matthew Axelrod from the Bureau of Industry and Security underlined the collective message: if you're involved in moving cargo, you're responsible for its legality. The advisory also highlights the importance of due diligence. For instance, using commercial satellite imagery to verify or monitor the behavior of vessels. There's also an emphasis on location monitoring best practices and thorough screening against government-denied party lists. This development doesn't just impact freight forwarders. Vessel owners, charterers, exporters, and others are also under the microscope. The goal? To create a more secure and compliant global supply chain, mitigating risks of illegal exports, and preventing sensitive technologies from reaching the wrong hands. As we wrap up, the takeaway for those in the maritime and transportation industries is clear. The bar for compliance has been raised. It's more important than ever to be vigilant, informed, and proactive in your operations. On to our last article, we focuses on a major development in customs compliance from California. Gotcham Inc., operating under the Platini brand, has been hit with a staggering $4 million fine and nearly $6. $4 million in restitution. The reason? A serious breach in customs duties compliance. This Paramount, California-based wholesale clothing company didn't just undervalue its garment imports to dodge millions in customs duties, it also entangled itself with the Sinaloa drug cartel in Mexico. Pleading guilty to conspiracy charges, Gotcham's case marks a first in the California Central District under the Foreign Narcotics Kingpin Designation Act. The company's executive, Mohammed Daoud Gotcham, is also awaiting sentencing. Here's how they did it. From July 2011 to February 2021, Gotcham imported textiles from China, submitting false invoices to Customs and Border Protection. These invoices undervalued the shipments by over $32 million, effectively evading the due customs duties. The scheme involved dual invoicing, one reflecting the actual price and the other an undervalued figure. This manipulation not only breached customs regulations, but also flouted anti-money laundering laws. As part of the sentence, Gotcham must now establish and maintain a robust anti-money laundering compliance and ethics program. This includes oversight by a third-party monitor reporting annually to the U.S. District Court. This case serves as a stark reminder to companies in international trade: compliance is not optional. The consequences of evasion are severe, not just financially, but also in terms of legal and reputational damage.
Thank you for joining us on International Trade Minute, your rapid source of trade updates for busy trade professionals. And we hope to have you back for our next episode. Don't forget to subscribe.